What happens when you point a new lens at the universe and see something no one else believes? In the early 1600s, Galileo Galilei dared to look up, and in doing so, changed our place in the cosmos forever. Born in Pisa in 1564, Galileo grew up in a world still ruled by Aristotle's ancient teachings. He was curious, restless, and unwilling to take authority at its word. Trained in medicine but drawn to mathematics, he began asking questions about motion, gravity, and the nature of reality itself. When news reached him of a Dutch invention called the telescope, Galileo didn't just copy it, he improved it. His version magnified far more, and he turned it toward the heavens. There, he saw mountains on the moon, countless unseen stars, and four tiny moons orbiting Jupiter. These were not just beautiful sights, they were evidence that the Earth was not the center of everything. Galileo embraced the heliocentric model proposed by Copernicus. The sun, not the Earth, sat at the center of our system. But this view challenged the Church's interpretation of Scripture, which placed Earth at the center of God's creation. Galileo knew he was stepping into dangerous territory. To Galileo, science was not just about discovering facts, it was about how we discover them. He championed empiricism, the belief that knowledge comes from observation and experimentation, not blind acceptance of tradition. His work on motion laid the groundwork for Newton's laws decades later. In 1632, he published Dialogue concerning the two chief world systems, presenting arguments for and against heliocentrism. Though framed as a discussion, his support for Copernicus was clear. The book caused an uproar. Galileo was summoned to Rome, tried by the Inquisition, and forced to recant under threat of torture. He spent his final years under house arrest, but even then, he continued to write. In private, he reportedly muttered, "I per si muove," and yet it moves, a quiet defiance that has echoed through history. Philosophically, Galileo stood for intellectual courage, the willingness to follow evidence wherever it leads, even when it threatens the established order. He believed the universe was written in the language of mathematics, and that it was our task to learn how to read it. His legacy lies in the scientific method, a process of questioning, testing, and revising that drives discovery to this day. Every spacecraft we launch, every star we map, owes a debt to Galileo's refusal to look away from the truth. In the end, Galileo's greatest gift wasn't the telescope, or even his discoveries. It was his reminder that progress begins with the courage to doubt. In a world still full of mysteries, perhaps we need that courage now more than ever.